Choose your vehicle.
Trying to buy an EV in the US right now is like trying to choose a video game character. See, they all have different traits and qualities, but some of them have got this additional federal discount option unlocked, while others haven't. It's because there's legislation that decides which cars are eligible for a federal discount and which ones aren't. But here's the big thing. That legislation could be about to change in a big way.
It's called the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022. It's a big deal.
See, the Senate just passed a climate bill that is set to completely redefine which cars qualify for a federal discount. It's like a cheat code that's rewriting the rules of the game, unlocking a whole new level of previously excluded EVs. But at the same time, it could shut some automakers out of the game entirely. So who are the winners and losers of this EV discount?
Let's go.
Okay, first we need to establish why some cars qualify for the existing federal discount and others don't. It all starts with the Energy Improvement and Extension Act of 2008, which attempted to encourage adoption of plug-in vehicles by offering federal tax credits of up to $7,500 on qualified plug-in electric drive motor vehicles. The credit applied to any new plug-in vehicle, but not second-hand ones, and it wasn't applied when you bought the car, but instead came off your tax bill. There was also a cap that meant the amount of credit was phased out after an automaker sold 200,000 qualifying vehicles.
So as soon as Tesla sold its 200,000 car, which happened years ago, that started to phase out. And now someone who buys a Tesla doesn't get any credit at all. And that's also happened in General Motors and just recently Toyota.
It's that cap that's been the source of frustration for some automakers.
Their argument has been, we were early on in EV sales, we helped sort of create this market, why are we getting penalized now?
But all of that is set to change under this new legislation. Firstly, the 200,000 car cap is gone, so Tesla, GM and Toyota would be back in the game. And the legislation now includes a wider range of vehicles. Listen closely.
It also gives consumers a tax credit to buy any electric vehicle or fuel cell vehicle, new or used, and a tax credit for up to $7,500 if those vehicles were made in America.
Let me break that down. Firstly, the new legislation extends the tax credits to used vehicles too, a whole extra level of cars that were previously excluded. However, you won't get the full $7,500 off a used car. Instead, it's maxed out at $4,000.
The used car market is a lot bigger than the new car market. It's like 70% of car sales actually are exchanged on the used market.
The new credit also includes hydrogen fuel cell cars too, and not just battery EVs. And instead of waiting for the discount to appear on your taxes, the credit is applied when you buy the car. But with this new approach comes new eligibility criteria, and it's this new criteria that's really shaking things up. Firstly, to qualify, the car would have to be assembled in North America. And then there's restrictions over how much money you make and how much the car costs.
On a car, I think it's $55,000. Anything beyond that from a sticker price standpoint wouldn't qualify. For a truck, it's $80,000. And then there's income limits too. Anyone with income over $150,000, $300,000 for married couples don't qualify either. That has been a bit of a sticking point for some of the luxury players, and startups like Rivian came out and said almost none of our cars will qualify now because their trucks start around that $80,000 price tag.
But there's one part of this legislation that could render many of these vehicles ineligible for the discount, and that's new rules that state that at least half of your battery must be made or processed in the United States or by one of its free trade partners.
They want the industry off of the reliance on China, which is a huge step to take, because any battery that comes in an EV is going to have stuff that was either extracted or processed or in some way touched by China. And this bill says if that's the case, then you don't qualify.
Now, those battery requirements are set to come in at the start of 2024. That gives automakers just under a year and a half to bolster their US battery production or attempt to get that figure changed. So what does this mean if you're trying to choose an EV right now? Well, if you're after a Tesla or one of the other brands that have been capped, or you're in the market for a second-hand EV, it might be worth waiting to see if the House passes this bill, as it could save you money. But if you're fortunate enough to live in one of those wealthy households, or you're looking to buy a high-end EV, you might want to get in there before the rules of the game get completely rewritten.